This program is proudly brought to you by Stanek, sponsors of the Stanek Group N Series.
This is the third round of the Stanek Group N National Saloon Car Championship at the Goldfields Raceway here in Welkom. As you might remember, the first round at Swartkorps was door bashing, very close racing indeed. And then we went down to the rain in Cape Town, where the choice of tyres and wet roads were all important. Now we're at a circuit where different circumstances exist. There's a very long straight where aerodynamics and slipstreaming play an important part, and also very late braking. As always, the big battle is between the Opels and the BMW. They're down on the line. Let's get on to the action. And as Tony Viana warms up his race rubber, Michael Briggs on pole position heads up a field of A and D class motor cars. There's 1.5 seconds between the first 17 cars as away they go on their 8-lap race. And you're sitting alongside Leon Marais on his right-hand side, Dion Jabé in the Winfield BMW through those very tricky S's and into that ultra-fast Saybat sweep, and then into the fastest straight in South African motor racing, the champion straight at Welkom. Here it is. It's all about slipstreaming. Look in Leon Marais' mirror. Here comes Peter Lance in the Midas BMW. There's nothing Marais can do about it. He catches a toe and then just passes him on the way down to the brake marks as they come out of Castle Corner. Tony Viana, Michael Briggs, Jeffrey Goddard, Roddy Turner, Dion Jabé, Peter Lance in the black BMW, and then he's got Leon Marais alongside him as they go over the Conti Tunnel into the Continental Tower Horseshoe. And it is Tony Viana staying in front there in the Winfield BMW. Michael Briggs looking for a way through. He's got Jeff Goddard on his tail. And as they come to the S's, Mike Briggs goes through in the inside, swerves right and left through the S's, and then through the Saybat sweep at 180 kilometers an hour. Viana now will be slipstreaming. He's looking for his way through, and he's found it. As he comes across the tunnel, Viana has gone to the front, and he squeezes Briggs behind him. They've got Jeff Goddard right in the tail. And the 1800cc cars, Grant McCleary leading his teammate Brian Gilmore, and Port Elizabeth's Kurt Elchin in the 160 GSI Opels. Back in with Leon Marais. He slipstreams Dion Jabé neatly as they get down to the brake markers. They pass the 200-meter mark, and there's nothing Jabé can do about it. But in the front there, it's Briggs going to the front. He's used Viana's old trick. As they come to the tunnel, he goes through in the inside and gets Viana. And he's very close to, as they're going to the closing stage of the race, there's not much Viana can do about it. And it's going to be Michael Briggs to win this one. As in fact he's going to do by 1 of a second, with Viana in the Winfield BMW right in his tail, and Grant McCleary takes Class D after a hard-force race by 3.1 seconds ahead of Gilmore and Kurt Elchin. And with such a big entry of nearly 60 motor cars, the organisers, the Sports Car Club in Welkom, have split this race in 4 classes B, C and E. And filling the first row, Nick de Waal, fresh from his second place in the Toyota Rally, and his teammate Hannes Grobler, the Springbok rallyist, on the front row of the grid as they get away. Straight into the lead goes Nick de Waal, followed by Hannes Grobler, sliding their way through the Saybat sweep, followed by Neil Stevens. Martinez Breers, the engineer from Pretoria. Just behind them they've got Brian Late, and they've got Neville Bartle from East London. As we sit alongside Peter de Waal at the front of the 1400cc cars, this is what slipstreaming is all about. Steve Winden in his private Toyota comes steaming past. So does Mike O'Sullivan nudging his way through. Hans Albert is there, Mark Edwards, and we've got Carl Moll in the white car alongside him. How's this for a big battle going on? Onto the heavy braking for Castro Corner. Lots of tyre smoke as they get around that one. In the front there, it's Hannes Grobler has gone to the front. He's slipstreamed Nick de Waal and has gone to the front of the pack. And now it's Nick de Waal's turn to try and find a way through. There's no team instructions here. Then comes Neil Stevens just behind him as they go through the start-finishing area. It's Martinez Breers. Neville Bartle's now having a battle royal there with Brian Late. But just behind them, they've got Chris Clark in the Moby Jack Toyota. And he's found it. Nick de Waal has done a Michael Briggs on Hannes Grobler and has gone to the front and is sliding his car through there at 180 kilometers an hour. Neil Stevens is next. And Stoning Racing at its best. And there's Martinez Breers, hasn't got quite the speed down the long straight, and Bartle in the red Opel is past Brian Late. It's now another slipstreaming exercise. Hannes Grobler is back in the front, and Nick de Waal has to start it all over again. Neil Stevens, leading his Class B, is just behind them. We're in now with Nissan Motorsport manager Peter de Waal as they come out of Castle Corner behind him. He's got a whole pack of something like 14 Class E cars. There's a little nudge here. You can hear that nudge. He goes onto the soft sand on the infield, and he's over. That was a very, very big roll. 4 times he rolled it there. And Peter de Waal is very lucky to get away with that one. He just sits down there to regain his composure. Very, very lucky to get away with it. Let's have a look at it in slow motion. Gets a nudge there from Rodney Tim. Goes into the soft infield. It's over once. And windows start to fall out of the back of the motor car. And the windscreen goes. This is going to be a write-off, is this Fiat Uno. And that is a very, very big one. Probably the biggest one that he's ever experienced in a motor car. But in the front, it's Hannes Strobler with Nick de Vals, the brother, still trying to find his way through. Very hard racing, this one. He needs the points. He's leading the class at the moment. As they come to the line, it's Nick de Vals coming to the line, just ahead, half a car length ahead of him. Behind them, Martinez Beers, Brian late ahead there of Neville Bartle. And the 1400, it's Mike O'Sullivan coming through ahead of Carl Muller and Hans Alberts in third position. As we line up now for the second race. And with the two Fiat Unos on the front row of the grid, Neil Stevens a lot more determined this time to get the measure of those two turbocharged motor cars. As they spin away, it's no surprise to see them leading this huge pack as they go through the S's and set off round the Saybat sweep and down that long champion straight. And just to show the size of this pack, this is what it looks like in Class E from the car of Hans Alberts. And right up at the front is Nick de Vals, making no mistake this time. Hannes Strobler leaves it very late, locks the wheel. He tips his back bumper. He spins him around, Krobler's into the front, and Neil Stevens slots into second position. Now this race is really on. Stevens tries other lines to get past Hannes Strobler. A much tighter line coming to the start-finish area, but it's still Hannes Strobler, Nick de Vals, Neil Stevens, and Martinez Beers. And back again with Hans Alberts down this long champion straight ahead of him. He's got the green Sapphic car of Mike O'Sullivan. And there's nothing you can do about the other cars creeping past. They've been slipstreaming him. Here they come. Sean Watson-Smith from Port Elizabeth. There's another one. Mark Edwards from the Transvaal. He's pushing him along. He pushes him past O'Sullivan. And Alberts is trying it as well. At the 300-meter mark as they go down to Castle Corner. 200 meters, leaving it very late indeed. 100 meters, and now they're onto the brakes. And in the front, by a stint of hard driving, determined driving there, Nick de Vals has got back in the front. He's going to get maximum points for this one. Hannes Strobler is in second position, and keeping up the pressure is Neil Stevens. Here's the 1400cc car. Sean Watson-Smith in the front. Then it's Hans Alberts. Using the curb there is Mark Edwards. Going through in the inside. 121 is Mike O'Sullivan. Great display of driving. He's leading the class on the points table at the moment. This battle has raged throughout all 8 laps. It's Nick de Vals in front, staying there ahead of Hannes Strobler, but Neil Stevens is a lot closer this time. And you can go into a corner in first position and come out in fourth position. It's Sean Watson-Smith once again in front. Alberts, Mike O'Sullivan, and Mark Edwards, they are having a big battle. They've lost Carl Muller somewhere along the road after the second lap. And here they come again. Edwards on the right-hand side. Alberts, Sean Watson-Smith moving over. There's Mike O'Sullivan. That's Edwards from the Alberts car. He gets a little bit of nudge into the infield, and that's the result. That's him out of this battle. Well, that's a great pity there, because a fine drive to end this way on his side. And the Goldfields Raceway marshals very quick on the spot, and they get him back onto his four wheels. But standing Group N racing is very, very tough. You win in this form of racing, you are really good. As Nick de Vals comes around to the finishing line, he's trying very hard, lifting that inside back wheel in the turn. And Neil Stevens, a last-ditch effort to get past Hannes Strobler. He can't make it. It's Nick de Vals, Hannes Strobler, the half a car length, and Neil Stevens. And here come the 1400s. Victory there to Sean Watson-Smith from Port Elizabeth, and just across the line, Mike O'Sullivan beats Hans Alberts. And that's Neil Stevens telling Mike Briggs how he did it. Well, there's the overall results for the day. Nick de Vals and Hannes Strobler, as expected, were 1 and 2 in the turbos. Neil Stevens winning Class B ahead of Pretoria's Martinez Beers. And in the E class, that big fight that went on was ultimately won overall by Mike O'Sullivan, Hans Alberts, and Sean Watson-Smith. As a more relaxed Michael Briggs gets himself back into his battle machine for the second race of the day for classes A and D. And just across the grid, more aggressive than ever, Tony Vion, as Michael Briggs takes up his position on pole position, the inside line going onto the first corner at the S's. Clock of the course, Brian Hoskins gives them the red flag, Grand Prix style of start. They get the green. The BMWs, as always, very quick off the line with their rear wheel drive. In with Leon Marais. Ahead of him he's got Jeff Goddard. He's got Roddy Turner there too. Michael Briggs is trailing Tony Viona through the S's and into the Saybat sweep in the Winfield BMW. As they come towards us, it's Viona once again leading through on lap 1. Briggs, Goddard, Marais, Turner, Farouk Danga. A little further back there, the D-Class cars are mixing with some of the stragglers of the A-Class. Grant McCreary leading Kurt Elchin and Brian Gilmore just behind them. They were never much further apart than this. And on his home track, Tony Viana is going to be a hard man to beat. Michael Briggs is just a second astern of him as they come through there. And here's the battle royal. Jeff Goddard has got opals all over him as they come into the start-finish straight, and the lead starts to open up. A little further back in Class D, Kurt Elchin has got ahead of the two Delta Motorsport cars, McCleary and Gilmore. But now we're in with Farouk Dang as we go down to the brake box at Castrol Corner. A little nudge there into the back of Jeffrey Goddard. On the right-hand side is Leon Murray. Got the better line as they come through there, but Jeff Goddard, if he looks at his mirrors, he's just got opals all around him. It's Murray going away, and Goddard, as we go down towards the Conti Tunnel. And Goddard's not going to give up this third place without a big fight, but Murray's got the inside berth. Goddard has to take the wider line as they go through Conti corners. It goes round and round. This is what it looks like from Farouk Danga's car. He's being pulled in there, closer and closer to them. In the front there, Tony Viana's got ahead of him. Michael Briggs has lost another second in this race, but is very happy with his second position. But here's the big battle for third spot. Murray has brought Farouk Danga with him. And then it's Jeff Goddard, and Roddy Turner's moving in for the kill as well, as Tony Viana goes on his way to take the race by 3.3 of a second ahead of Michael Briggs. But it's for third place. Who's going to get it as they come towards us? We're in with Leon Maria. He signals to Farouk Danga. We've taken the second BMW. We've got third and fourth position ahead of Jeff Goddard and Roddy Turner. Great joy from Maria. And so the overall results for the day. Tony Viana takes it by 3 seconds in the Winfield BMW ahead of Mike Briggs in the Opel. Grant McCleary, winning both his races, goes to the top of the points table in Class D ahead of Elchin and Gilmore.